Okay, I'm going to show you how to make a trap door for an RC airplane. This is an older model airplane that I had lying around. It's a Nexstar .46, and I'm going to show you how to lift a 200-gram weight with no problem. Here I've got a scale. I'm not sure if you can see the numbers, and I'm sorry if you can't, but this is 200 grams, and place it on the scale, and the scale is going to read 200, obviously. This is your average water balloon, pink, your favorite color. I put it on the scale. It's around 153 grams. No real big deal. This type of trap door is going to be using a regular servo. Let me turn on my aircraft. It's going to be using a smaller servo. This is an HS81. The servos don't really have a whole lot of strength going this way, but that's not actually what we're using. We're using strength as far as going this way, pulling on the center of the actual servo. You're going to get a little tiny piece of metal, which is what I used, and I will show that to you right here. The little tiny piece of metal that I used is under here, and you can see it's got a little tiny catch on it, and it just flips back and forth. That little tiny piece of metal is attached to the actual servo arm, long ways coming out, and it goes about 2.5 inches from the actual servo. So when this servo flips, the arm switches back and forth, the servo arm switches. I'm going to lay the camera down just for a moment, so pardon me. And I'm going to load this. I simply take the 200 gram weight, place it up inside the aircraft, oops, and close it. 200 grams is now in the cargo bay doors, ready to be dropped in whatever you want to drop. You can put anything you want in there. I would strongly recommend using it for fun purposes, not for malicious purposes or causing anybody any injury or harm, because this is very, very heavy. Falling from a very high distance, it can injure somebody. Flip the switch, the weight falls out. How this looks on the inside is just a small little tiny parts box that I had lying around. As you can see down in here, the servo has been glued, and I actually went ahead and secured it using bolts to the inside of the box. On the back side of the servo, you can see the little tiny arm, and I'm going to move that back and forth right now. That's all it is. Remember, you're pulling on the servo strength from here towards the outer edges. You're not actually using this to hold the weight. You're not using the side-to-side action to hold the weight. You're using it long ways, pulling from the center of the servo. You can increase your weight exponentially doing it that way. That's a lot better than using bomb bay doors. This is an inside view, and you can see the little tiny screws inside there. There's 4 of them, just to give it some extra strength. Once again, sorry about the lighting. Let me see if I can't turn on a light. There we go. As you can see, a little tiny piece of plastic here. All this was just a little tiny CD case cover, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. You can see on the top of it how it's kind of been bent out here. All I did was heated up the edge here and then bent this out. What's going to happen is there's a little tiny hook on there, like I said, and that hook is going to catch on this tiny arm piece. You have to measure that out properly, and you can see how it lines up right there. And let me cut that light back out so you can see. You just have to measure it out. The reason I have this little tiny angled piece is so when you're flying forward in the wind, even at 30 miles an hour, this little tiny deflection is enough to go ahead and close this and keep it closed long enough for you to hit your switch and relock your device. Well, that's it. You guys stay safe and have fun with it.